Okay, welcome all to the Black Column Podcast. I am your host, Jabaya, aka the Cruel Philosophr,
and I'm Shannon, aka your favorite Blerd.
Yes, and here we are, back again after a couple of days, right? Like 7, 8, 9, probably 9 days. Like I said, we are not able to do our regular scheduled, day anymore because we working now, and by we I mean me. So.
I'm working.
Gotta get these. But you was always working.
So we kind of. But now I'm commuting again back into the office regularly.
Yeah. So Shannon's back. Do you drive there or do you take public transportation?
No. I can't afford to be driving to work every day. I take the train.
Yeah. So me and Shannon are both out there, putting our lives at risk for the white man's dollar. So yeah, the quicker you guys make this podcast a thing, the quicker we can quit. I would like to say one thing real quick. So Shannon, I saw Shannon for the first time in 7 years.
Yeah.
At work, right? I was at the job that I quit, but I was at work, and Shannon called my name, and I looked over. I had no idea who she was. No idea. Because like my last, real life visual of Shannon was that of you weren't a teenager. You were.
No, I saw you once, like when we were in, like, I saw you once, like after high school, I think.
Yeah, I gave you that Christmas gift, right?
Yeah. Did you give that to me in person?
I did. Remember, it was in Pelham.
No, but we hung out once. It was like I feel like I was like a freshman in college. I don't know what time of year it was. But I was home, so but we definitely did. I remember.
I don't think so. I didn't talk to you for a while. You know why?
No, anyway. We hung out. No. What we did. Okay. All right. Stop. Okay.
I do remember that though. I remember because did we do a show, or you just came over?
I just came over. We just hung out.
Yeah, we did. Because I that was before or after I was angry.
And we watched that documentary on
I don't remember. Anyway, look.
Yeah, we watched we watched that documentary on what's a Scientology. You don't remember that?
I don't remember any of that. I remember being angry with you.
Oh God.
That was college.
In high school. You were mad with me. You were angry with me in high school.
Yeah, but that was for different reasons. See, Shannon's made me angry a lot, as you can see. But I was angry. I was angry with you in college for a different reason. And I remember.
Yes.
And then I gave you the gift. Yeah, but anyway, look, my last memory of you still look like high school Shannon. So when I saw Shannon as a grown person, I don't know who that was. I was like, and plus she had the mask on, so I just saw her eyes. So I'm like, and was your hair like that? No, it wasn't, right?
No, I had like a thing on, like a
So I know y'all thinking y'all do the show every week. How can you not recognize Shannon? Because she didn't look like the way she looks here.
No.
So I was like, who's calling me? And then like Shannon, I'm like, oh, I didn't recognize you. So Shannon for the first time in like 6-7 years in person. She looks like a grown-up, which is weird. Now ironically, that was my last day at that job anyway. So
I know you were leaving, so I was surprised that I caught you.
Did you purposely go there to try to run into me?
Huh?
Or was your mom going? He was like, oh shit, I might be able to see Jabaya.
No. So we went, what did we go? I went there to buy a coat because I needed a coat because it's getting cold. And then I was like, oh, I wonder, but I didn't think that I didn't know if I was going to see you or not. And then I was like, oh, that looks like Jabaya. And I'm like, yep, it is. And that's just what happened.
Yeah. And it's strange because like, I could have been like scheduled to work anywhere that day. Like I could have been on the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor, the first, I think that was my 2nd day working on the 1st floor. So like the fact
I told my mom that you just started working in there, and I was like, oh, he seems like he knows what he's doing. I was going to say that to you too, but like, I didn't want to say that while you had a customer. First of all, why would I not know what I'm doing? Because you haven't been working there for that long, like on the register and stuff. I mean,
oh yeah, but I'm smart.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Plus, remember, it wasn't my first time doing a register. It was my first time doing register, like for them. So like, once you kind of know, once you know one POS, you kind of know them all. It's just like where things are is a little bit different. But yeah, I was pretty good at my job. And on the day that I was, the day that I quit, I was really thinking about where I wanted to go. So I had JCPenney, and then I had Sinopolis.
What is that? What's that?
That's the theater I work for.
Oh,
the luxury theater,
I've never
right?
Heard of that. Sinopolis.
It's in Chelsea, yeah. It's in Chelsea.
I work in Chelsea. It's very weird.
This is very weird. But I would like to say this. So I had these two jobs. I had actually Google's where I work. I had I was scheduled to work on, the upcoming week by Sinopolis, and I also had my schedule for JCPenney. And it was the day after Thanksgiving. And so I was going to disappoint one of these two people. Right. And I didn't decide the night I went to sleep. I felt like I was leaning towards going to JCPenney because, not as physically demanding. Plus, it's closer to the bus. I made a pros and cons list in my phone. I'm gonna read it to you. Just let you know how much thought I put into this. All right, so this is my pros and cons list, right? JCPenney pros. I should skip the first one.
Why? Read it.
My first pro was a lot of eye candy.
Oh God, of course. Okay.
And it was a lot of eye candy. I had phenomenal female coworkers that worked at JCPenney. 2, busy days, so time flies. 3, easier transportation, shorter commute, and no job uniform. Like, we got to wear black, but other than that, we could do what we want. Cons, and this was a big con. Bi-weekly pay. Now I get it.
As opposed to weekly?
Yes.
Oh my God. Be fortunate. I get paid semi-monthly, which is worse than bi-weekly.
That's bi-weekly.
That's no, it's not, because bi-weekly is like every Friday, every other Friday.
Every 2 weeks.
But semi-monthly is like the 31st and the 15th of the month, which is not always 2 weeks exactly. Sometimes it's 2.5 weeks, and sometimes it's 2. It just depends on the month and the calendar.
Yeah. And I get it. Most of y'all get paid bi-weekly. Most jobs pay bi-weekly. I get it. But guess what? When you get a taste of that weekly pay, all right, it is hard to go into that Look, my first job out of high school was weekly pay. I was 16, getting $400 a week, no taxes taken out.
Mm-hmm. No taxes? Were you off the books?
No, I was a student.
Oh, right.
I was 16. I was in school, so I didn't pay any taxes. Mm-hmm. Then I went to Ziegfeld, my first theater that I worked at, and I got paid bi-weekly. Hated it. Then got back to Sinopolis. The pay was not back. I went to Sinopolis. Pay was weekly again. And going from weekly to bi-weekly, I was like, this is a lot. 13 days without any income. So that was a big con for me.
But one could argue that getting paid weekly encourages you to spend more money. I had one job where I got paid weekly. It was nice. But I feel like you spend more money if you get paid weekly.
You're probably right. But I also feel like getting paid bi-weekly, I feel like I'm more vulnerable to, in case shit happens, expenses. Right? So like if you get paid weekly, let's say if something tragic happens, or just you get hit with a bill that you didn't expect to get hit with, you kind of have some income coming in that can help you with it, versus waiting 2 whole weeks for it.
Yeah,
that can really put you in a bad predicament. And I get it. Most jobs are bi-weekly, but I was choosing between a place that paid weekly and a place that paid bi-weekly. So that was a big deciding factor. Also, horrible company website.
What, JCPenney?
Yes.
Okay. What do you mean?
So, for example, where I'm at now, Sinopolis, it is very easy to get a shift, switch a shift, release a shift. All of our contact information is in the system. So if I didn't know a coworker's phone number, I can go online to our internal thing and get their cell number.
Okay.
And so it's just much easier to
Got it.
do shit and navigate. And I didn't know how to do that with the JCP website, internal stuff. And I don't like the way it looked. I couldn't really message managers, and I get it. It's not even their fault. It's this is what it's like working at a bigger company. When I was scheduled to work there, it could be 30 of us or 40 of us working during my shift, and I'm only interact with 4 or 5 people. Versus at where I'm at now, Sinopolis, there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 15 people working during my shift, and I know all of them, and I can interact with all of them.
Okay.
So that was a con. Also, seasonal position.
Yes. Con.
Mm-hmm. That was now. My brother said, given the kind of the market, that there was a high likelihood that they're going to be hiring a lot of the seasonal employees.
Yeah,
which
probably.
I get. Mm-hmm. True, but it's still probably versus Sinopolis was definitive. Plus, I knew my boss, like Shayla. Okay. She was my boss at Ziegfeld, so I've known Shayla for like over like 5-6 years now. And whenever I needed a job, she's always brought me on. Like, text her, send her an email. Cool. I don't have to. I didn't even have to interview for this. They just brought me right back into the company. So, do I want to like mess up that relationship or like?
No.
Nah. And Shayla has like a fucking, I don't know what to call it, green boots. She lands on her feet all the time.
Okay.
So like she's always gonna be employed, and so if she's always employed and I'm a phenomenal worker, which I am, if I need it, I'm always be employed. So that was another con, right? Sinopolis pros. Better website. Like I said, already put in 2 years. I sound like a prisoner. Put in 2 years, so if there's a chance for upward mobility, I'm gonna be up for it. Job is not seasonal. Friends with coworkers, that was a big thing because like it's weird working there. It's such a laid back environment, even though it gets hectic, when we have a big movie, but like they've done a phenomenal job of making it so like you're kind of friends with all your coworkers. It's weird. I feel out of place sometimes because I end up working with some like teenagers, but they don't annoy me as much as the teenagers did at the other place. So that was one. Yeah, and so the cons were just like Sinopolis is physically demanding sometimes and late shift. So like I'll be getting out like at 11 p.m. but who cares? So yeah, well, I'm back where I belong for now. Kudos to me. Shannon, how are you? I talked for like 10 minutes without asking you how are you doing. Almost like I don't care, but how you doing, Shannon?
It's okay. It's okay. I enjoyed that conversation. I am tired, very tired. So like I'm just.
How are you always tired? You don't do anything.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I have commuting to work now. I woke up at 4:30 this morning to go to the gym. So like, cause like I don't know, it's just hard trying to get my schedule back, like to fit my schedule in with this new commuting to work now. So yeah, I'm tired. I woke up at 4:30.
It should take you like an hour to get to work, right?
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. All right, well, I'm glad you are doing. Well, you're not doing good, but whatever you are.
I mean, I am doing good. I am.
So no big news in your life?
No. I don't have any big news. No.
Really. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was good. It was good. It was quiet. How was yours?
Mine was quiet for me.
What does that mean?
Meaning they were having people over and I was staying away.
Oh, you don't want to interact with your family?
No.
Why?
No. What do you mean why? Okay. We just got news that this super Megatron virus, what's it called?
Omicron.
Omicron? It sounds like a Decepticon. Omicron's out here taking people out. So I was right. I'm in my room. I had my window open, my fan on, just blowing the air that way. I'm like, you're not getting me. So yeah.
Did you get your booster shot yet?
No. Did you get yours?
Yeah, I told you that. Last time we recorded, I told you I got a booster shot.
It has been 2 weeks though, I don't think. How you feel?
Yeah, it has been 2 weeks.
Okay, how you feel?
I'm fine.
All right. I might get mine tomorrow. There's been some reports about people. Oh, we're gonna just go ahead and get into it. So okay. New variant out of South Africa is called Omicron, which is a horrible name. Like if you wanted to pick a name that would scare the living daylights out of you, and you hear Omicron variant,
how do they pick these names?
I don't know. I thought they were doing the Greek alphabet at first, right? Alpha.
Yeah, I think so.
Beta, Delta. But they just went to Omicron. That don't sound Greek to me.
Yeah. It does sound Greek, but it's O. But we just came off of D, so I don't know. I don't think they're going in order.
Yeah, and there's also like a new strain too. Yeah, the new strain, NU.
Oh, Mu? Isn't that old? Hasn't that been around for a while now? A
No,
little
not
while?
Mu, new, NU.
Oh, no. I didn't hear that one. No. What is that
Yeah,
one?
type it in. It's also a variant um that I saw first before I saw the
Listen,
Omicron.
here's a question. When do we stop caring that there are new variants? Because isn't this normal for a virus? It just keeps mutating. It's like the flu, like the flu does.
So it is normal. I would like to add though, the flu don't seem to mutate like this though. This shit is mutating like a Pokemon.
I feel like the flu mutates. Well, I know that it mutates every year because every year they have to like do a different version of the vaccine. But maybe, I mean, who knows how often the flu mutates? We just don't hear about it because the flu has become normalized part of living. So I feel like since we're still in a pandemic, they're just advertising every new variant that's out. But I feel like this is normal.
So me and you agree on that point where some of this is hysteria, just for the sake of hysteria, because like you said, viruses mutate. It's kind of what they do. As they go from person to person, they mutate to become more contagious usually. Sometimes they mutate to be less deadly, but more contagious. Other times, more contagious and, more deadly. Who knows, right? So to your point, yeah, this is kind of what viruses do. But I guess what people so like worried about this from what I was hearing and reading is that basically our vaccines are built, especially the mRNA ones, they're built specifically to be effective because of the spike. It's called a spike protein around the virus, right? Like that's how those things work. And so they make the vaccines to recognize those spike proteins, and so it helps your body fight off, infection, and also if you get infected, severe sickness.
Okay.
The Omicron, whatever you want to call it, variant, the spikes are vastly different from previous strains of corona, and so this means that there's a high likelihood that our vaccines might not be nearly as effective against this virus.
What I get this booster shot for?
that's what I want to ask you once we finish talking about this, because that's one concern that I heard that they have, especially Fauci. Another concern is that it is extremely more contagious. So Delta was already more contagious than like the other strains, and so people think this is even more contagious than Delta. So it's like super duper contagious. And it is hitting people that are vaxxed, like double vaxxed.
Listen, I don't want to get COVID again. I did not have fun the first time. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but like it still isn't fun. I just don't want to do it again.
Yeah, you are someone who has had COVID and you're also vaccinated. So I don't know what your risk would be, so to speak. But yeah, this is a true area of concern because even before this variant, I mean, there were stories of people catching regular COVID twice.
Yeah.
So, if a virus mutates so much to the point where it has such a distinct, spike protein, then does it matter that your body created antibodies for COVID version 1 if we got the COVID remix out here?
I mean, I would still like to think that if you're vaccinated and you still get it, I would still like to think that the antibodies that the vaccine produced in your body will help you a little bit. Like, I still think you'll be better off than somebody who's not vaccinated and who's never had COVID before.
So to your point, in South Africa, I think only about 6% of the population was vaccinated at the time of the emergence of Omicron. So to your point, like how much information as far as transmissibility and deadliness can we really take from a location where so few people are vaccinated, and compare it to like a place like New York City or California or wherever, Vermont, where you have kind of these, high 70% plus, vaccination levels. I don't know, right? I have no idea how they do that math. No idea. But look, if they freaking out, it gives me room for pause to do some more information. And then I will determine for myself if I should be freaking out or not. But Yeah, it seems like this is the new one.
I'm not even really scared anymore. I'm kind of over the hump of being scared. I'm kind of over COVID. Not that I don't care about it, but I'm kind of at a point where I'm just rolling with the punches. There's a new strain. Okay, now we have to live with that. This is kind of the way that, because I just feel like, I don't know. Will we ever be back will life be normal again? I've come to the terms that we're not, not anytime soon.
Well, there's a deeper question to ask as well, because now let's get to the boosters, right? Because you were saying, well, why did I get the booster for? And this is where I would like some clarification. Are the boosters kind of using old data? So mainly, we didn't have the Omicron when we made the boosters, right? The boosters were made kind of with the Delta variant in mind. So if we have this new variant that has, significantly different spike proteins, making it evasive to regular vaccination, wouldn't that also be the same for the boosters? Thus, should I be getting the booster? Look, I'm all for getting boosted and vaccinated, but these things still come with risk. And I'm not out here just taking risks just because if I'm not going to get any added protection.
You should still get a booster shot for the regular strains that are still circulating. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like those are going to disappear just because Omicron is here. They're just all going to be circled up together, circulating around together.
This is a lot, boy.
I know.
This is a lot. But your attitude, I think, is the right one. Like, this is kind of what it's going to be. In fact, some of this is us being spoiled. If you look at, historically speaking, and you look at pandemics, they last usually like 4, 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's only because we have this like arrogance that we have now that we've dominated nature, that we think that this thing is supposed to bend to our will because we want it to go away. But this is kind of what pandemics are. It's like multiple waves, there's multiple strains. It lasts for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then slowly it gets to a point where the danger is not the same anymore because so many people have caught it. Now we have like this high level of herd immunity. So like to your point, don't let this stress you out, because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. Get vaccinated, get the boosters, do your due diligence. But other than that, what else can you do?
Nothing. There's literally nothing you can do. But just continue to live your life while you have one, I guess.
Fauci was talking about additional lockdowns, and I was telling people I don't think the lockdowns are coming back because
I don't think so.
Yeah, like we just can't afford it business wise.
Yeah, we can't. Another lockdown will definitely hurt the economy more so than the first time around. And also it won't go over well because we've already basically given people back their freedom. So I feel like a second lockdown would not go over well at all.
It's not. And so, I suppose you can make the argument that maybe we kind of gave, this sounds weird, maybe we gave people their freedom back too quickly. But I'm with you. Once the cat's out of the bag, it's out the bag for a reason, baby. And and look, it's also healthy to kind of be back in the world. Like, I don't think I told you this, but one of the things that I was shocked at when I went back to work was how much my mood like picked up. Now I still hate work because I hate doing stuff that I don't want to do. Same to you?
Yeah, me too. Because I was getting so bored working from home every day. It was so boring. So I actually like going back to work. I like being around people. It makes the day go by faster. It makes me feel more productive. Yeah,
my mood went up. And so I was working this job that I quit eventually and went back to my old job. But still, like, my mood felt differently. I felt like, like we're not designed to be like isolated, alone in our houses, not doing anything. And I made fun of Shannon earlier in the pandemic when she was putting all of our lives at risk. But really, it is
what do you
kind
mean? Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, when you was out there partying and stuff back when,
I wasn't first of all, I can count on my one hand the amount of parties I have been to over the last 2 years. Okay.
You did your nails, Shannon?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You look at Shannon like a girly girl. But I will say this though. It is a normal thing. Like, we are social animals. And so it shouldn't be shocking that, our mental health kind of declines when we are isolated and kept away from our friends and new people, right? like just seeing strangers makes you feel better, right? So I don't think we were headed to another lockdown.
Do you think mask mandates will come back though?
I mean, mine never left.
No. I know that you still wear masks, but do you think that mandates will come back?
Probably, yeah. Now we can argue on how effective they are, as far as it pertains to stopping the spread. It's very different telling people to mask in 2020 with like the original COVID strain. It is totally different if we are dealing with this super contagious strain. Like, how much is a mask really going to help you with a super duper contagious strain that is airborne?
That's true.
I don't know. I'll be on a train sometimes thinking, if somebody on this train got it, I'm gonna get it. Like, I can't think of a way that I wouldn't get it. I'm in this enclosed environment with a bunch of people. I was on a packed train Saturday.
It makes me feel so gross when we were just sandwiched in on the train with all these people. Also, sometimes I see people on the train without masks on, and I'm just like, how are you on the train without a mask on? It's just just gross.
I mean, they might be vaccinated and they think that they don't need a mask.
Yeah, but the train is just such a gross environment. You know what I mean? Like,
but it was always gross.
I can't imagine. I know, but I can't. That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine the times when we weren't on the train with masks on, just breathing in all the fumes of the underworld. It's just gross.
I hear you, but it was always nasty. I remember when Cuomo announced that they were going to be cleaning the trains for the first time. I was like, what? I've been riding on trains that never got washed in their life all these years. Didn't know about it. So yeah, we was always out here with filth, Shannon, but we just ain't know it. So yeah, I think that's kind of it for the Omicron, that fucking scary ass name.
Did you read this article that I put in here? Because I realized about children making up 10% of hospitalizations. I couldn't get into it because I don't have a subscription to Bloomberg, so I couldn't read it. But I don't know if you were able to read it. Because that's interesting.
Hold on. If children under the age of 2 account for about 10% of total hospital admissions in the Omicron epicenter in South Africa, according to the National Institute for Communicable Diseases. More kids are being admitted than during the early stages of the country entering the current 4th wave of infections, although a similar trend occurred during the 3rd wave when Delta was dominant, said Wasila Jasat, public health specialist at the institute. That's her name, Jay. Don't laugh.
South African I like how Jabbai just said it, like he pronounced it correctly. He probably didn't.
Okay. South African scientists were last week the first to identify the new variant now known as Omicron. And while symptoms have been described as mild, the exact risk from the new strain is still uncertain. Governments across the globe stepped up travel restrictions in response, and the World Health Organization warned that the new variant could fuel a fresh surge in infections. The very young children have an immature immune system, and they are also not vaccinated, so they are more at risk, said Jasat, who was part of developing and managing South Africa's national hospital surveillance system for COVID-19. She said that part of the increased rate of admissions may reflect extra precaution on the part of parents given the new concern about the mutation. A pediatric report due later this week should provide more information. That's an interesting point.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting just because up until now, we've known that children aren't as affected by COVID as adults. So it's kind of interesting that now there's more hospitalization of young children with this variant. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of where you would worry about things, right? Because so far with the COVID stuff, we've kind of been blessed in a way that children are like the least affected. Like, so like if you think about the flu, it's the opposite. Like kids are very susceptible to bad outcomes when they catch the flu. So with COVID, that wasn't the case because kids can't really they aren't mindful of their surroundings. They don't wash their hands like that. They stay touching their face, put stuff in their mouth. They don't cover their mouth when they cough. They can't. They take the mask off their face. So we would be seeing like a very a horrible death count amongst children if the COVID virus impacted young people the way it did like those senior citizens. Mm-hmm. And so far we've been blessed. And so you just kind of hope that this thing doesn't morph or evolve into a virus that does begin to target children like the flu does, because then now we're in a very dangerous place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, stay safe, people. Stay safe, stay out these streets. That's kind of all I can really say.
Yep.
So this story I saw, Shannon, I want to get your thoughts on it. It was let me just read through these other stories.
Well, all these stories in here are old. Like I put them in there last week when I thought we were recording last week, but then we didn't. So
yeah, these sounds. I don't care about any of these. I don't care about the FDNY. The smallpox story does seem interesting, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm opening that up. Smallpox.
Wait, which one? What is smallpox story? I put a smallpox story in there. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh no. Smallpox. Yes, that's interesting. We should talk about that.
Wait a minute.
Warfare starting.
A batch of vials labeled smallpox, a deadly disease eradicated since the 1970s, was found in a freezer and immediately quarantined, the Centers for Disease Control told NBC 10. An investigation into why they were there is underway. Who the hell has a vial of smallpox?
Exactly. And if you read further in the article, only 2 labs in the world are authorized to have smallpox samples, and that is the CDC in Atlanta and some Russian lab are the only 2 authorized labs to have smallpox.
The CDC said the frozen vials were, quote, incidentally discovered by a lab worker. The discovery occurred after Merck. Shannon is a horrible co-host. She knew that what I was looking at, and she didn't say nothing.
I think it's Merck.
I think it's Merck.
I don't know
right?
what else. Yeah.
Merck Upper Gwend.
I don't even know what you're reading right now. It was found at the Merck facility in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania.
Okay, whatever you just read. In North Wales, about 30 miles northwest of Philadelphia, according to a source with knowledge of the ongoing situation. It is not clear exactly when the vials were discovered. Merck is in the process of figuring out why it was there. The CDC said an investigation is underway. Yahoo News first reported the discovery. Merck did not respond to requests for comment Wednesday morning. The frozen vials labeled smallpox were incidentally discovered. Okay, you said that already.
I know, it's kind of repeating itself a lot.
Yeah, the laboratory worker who discovered the vials was wearing gloves and a face mask. There was no indication that anyone has been exposed to the small number of frozen vials. We will provide further details as they are available. Why are vials of smallpox just, first of all,
biowarfare? That's all I have to say about that.
It's just so strange.
It's
like,
very
where do you find a vial of smallpox?
I don't know, because again, like I said, there's only 2 labs in the world that are authorized to have smallpox samples, and that's the CDC main lab in Atlanta and a facility in Russia. So how 2 vials of smallpox got in a lab in Pennsylvania is very odd, because that's nowhere near Atlanta or Russia.
It's not just odd. It's like Jeffrey Epstein killed himself odd. It's like the chain of events that has to happen for a vial of smallpox to get into a refrigerated lab. Like, shouldn't the lab be secured both ways? Like stuff coming in and going out? Like
it should.
So there's no like people can just stuff random stuff into freezers now. Like this is what we're doing. This is why whenever people like go to these big government conspiracy theories as far as why certain things happen, I'm like, that could be the case, but it could also be like these people are just dumb. Like we assume that the people in these seats of power are these super intellectual, always thinking about the worst case scenario type of people. That ain't always the case. Mm-mm. They just out here doing what they want to do. They probably, like, I was thinking about this the other day, Shannon. Have you ever gone to work tired?
Yes.
I mean, tired to the point where you do this at work sometimes.
Sometimes.
All right. Now, if we do that.
Yeah. It's scary.
No, I'm saying, though, that means you think a pilot never did that before?
Of course they have, which is scary, which is why I'm afraid to fly.
A bus driver or a train conductor, right? Like, we forget these are just human beings. Mm-hmm. So we assume that the head of the lab would be more, I don't know, stringent on security of his lab or her lab, whoever this person is. But they could just be human. They could have fell asleep one day when somebody was coming in. They could have lied. I know we've all done that where we've clocked out of work before we should have, or we stayed longer than we needed to get some extra hours, whatever, and then clocked out. Like all of that stuff that happens at the regular job also happens at these super important jobs as well. Mm. But damn, I want to know where they got the smallpox virus from. Like, where do you get it from? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, we are due for some bullshit soon.
Yes, we are. Sketchy. It's all sketchy. So yeah, I forgot to put that in there. But that was when I read that, I was like, what is happening here? But that story hasn't circulated. I haven't seen that story circulating around as much. So I don't know.
And you won't. The same way.
Yeah, I know. Of course not.
The same way they're not talking about that homeboy that ran into that crowd. What's his name?
Who? What are you talking about?
The dude that ran into that parade.
Oh, yeah.
That nobody's talking about because he's black.
I feel like people were talking about it when it happened, but I haven't seen anything.
Nah, they weren't, Shannon. Don't do that.
I saw a lot of stories about it when it happened.
You wouldn't know. And see, this is kind of like in line with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. You would not know that this dude was a black man unless you read into the stories.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a black man.
Like, look at this headline: 5 dead, 40 injured after SUV hits when Wisconsin Christmas parade. As if the SUV was driving itself. Like, what are we doing? If this was a Muslim dude, we would have said terrorist attack, Muslim dude, ran over some people with this car in, jihadist attack. If it was a white dude, it would have said, oh, white supremacists, right-wing extremists ran into this crowd because of whatever. Because this dude is a black man, no one is talking about the identity of the person that committed the act. And I think this is foul on behalf of the media. Foul. And this dude has a rap sheet long as hell.
What did he do? What has he done? What did he do? Also, do we know why he ran into the crowd? Was he drunk or did he just do it? Did he do it maliciously?
You know what's crazy? It's hard for me to even find this motherfucker's name. This is what I'm talking about. Like, Shannon, it's all the same headline. Shannon, go on to Google right now and type in parade run over.
Okay.
And just read the headlines from top to bottom to see my point.
More than a dozen remain hospitalized after deadly got cut off. Hold on. After deadly, how do you say this town? Waukesha. Waukesha? Is that how you say the name of the town?
It's your turn to struggle with a word. But Shannon, you just had to read you have to click the article. Just read it. What the Google search comes up.
Okay. Wisconsin town warns those who died in holiday parade. 5 dead, 40 wounded as car hits Wisconsin Christmas parade. Parade rampage driver has lengthy criminal record. Yeah. Nothing on
who this dude is. Mm-hmm. Nothing. This thing strange to you?
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what's going on. And Hold on. I'm gonna find this dude. Parade driver, criminal history. Because he had a rap sheet that was lengthy. Here we go. Thank you. WBay.com. His name was Darrell Brooks. 39-year-old Darrell Brooks. Action 2 News has learned Brooks has been familiar with the criminal justice system for his entire adult life, having been charged in more than a dozen criminal cases over the last 22 years. I'm going to repeat. More than a dozen criminal cases over the last 22 years.
Yikes.
Less than 3 weeks ago, according to online court records, Brooks was charged with second-degree recklessly endangering safety, obstructing an officer, felony bail jumping, and domestic violence-related disorderly conduct and battery. Police said he ran the mother of his child over with his vehicle November 2nd.
Wow.
In July of 2020, a judge ordered a $10,000 bond for Brooks in another case involving recklessly endangering safety and felon in possession of a firearms charges. In February of 2021, while still in custody, Brooks demanded a speedy trial, but the DA's office said another trial was already going in the same court, so a judge adjourned his case and reduced his bail to $500.
Why was he not in jail from running over his who did he run over? His baby mother?
He attempted to run over. Oh no, he did run over her. And his
that happened on November 2nd?
Yes.
Why was he not already in jail? I'm so confused.
He was in jail. His bail kept getting diminished.
Wow. Okay.
The dude was sentenced to 2 years in prison when he was 17. He was convicted of a drug possession and obstructing an officer in 2002, 2003, and 2011. He was charged with strangulation and suffocation.
Wow.
Like, this is what I mean. If this dude was any other demographic, white man, Muslim man, who else that we hate in this country? White man, Muslim man, I don't know. Anybody but a black man. We will be talking about this obvious, like, dude, the red flags. The red flag. How does he get out?
I don't know. Javai.
Can somebody help me? How does he get out?
Oh my god.
I don't understand it. If I try to run over somebody, like, just forget the identity, right? Yeah, it's his child's mother. Forget all that. If I ran over somebody with my car, I agree with leftists like yourself about criminal justice reform, and I believe that we should get rid of cash bail, because I don't believe you should be in prison just because you can't pay to get bail. But I don't believe in getting rid of bail. Here's what I mean. You should be kept in prison until your trial if you are deemed to be a danger to your community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it should depend on how much money you have. It should be dictated by how dangerous we think you are. This dude had a bunch of red flags to show he's a danger to his community. In and out of jail since he was 17 for various crimes, can't stay out of jail. And it wasn't just drug charges. He had violent stuff on his jacket, domestic abuse, running over his child's mother, strangulation.
Yeah.
This is somebody that does not need to be out here on these streets. And guess what? He was on these streets, and because of that, 40 people are in the hospital, 5 are dead. And the media is trying to wash their hands of the story because of the identity of the person that committed the actions. That's corny to me.
Yeah.
Corny. So to this dude, I'm going to say his name one more time. His name is what's his name? I want his full last name. 39-year-old Darrell Brooks of Milwaukee. This guy, he probably needs help mentally, because one thing that happens as well is we out here locking up people who really are disturbed and, should have been helped a while ago. And once they, become an adult and they have these mental issues that, maybe if they had some intercessions during their teenage years or earlier than that, we could have prevented whatever action they commit today. And now instead, all we have for them is a long prison sentence instead of helping them when they were still children.
Yeah.
So he needs help, but he should not have been on the street.
No, I agree.
And that is I don't know what investigation is going to happen. I'm very uncomfortable that the media is trying to just speed this story by.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was somebody dropped the ball on this.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to evaluate, hey, what happened? Why did it happen? What can we do to keep this from happening in the future? Another story. Okay, Shannon.
No, I was just saying I agree. Continue.
Yeah. We didn't write any of this on the our docket. But
no, I forgot about this actually, which is terrible. But
another story that's in the news that just came to my mind. Have you seen these videos of these gang of people robbing these stores?
Oh, yeah. Wait,
these flash mob thieves?
Yeah.
What is happening? What is going on? How?
I don't know.
If you see this video, if you go into YouTube, if you're listening, right, or watching, whatever you're doing right now, right? And look, you have to have seen these videos, these clips of these gang of people. Now, these are happening mainly in LA. I think they have like the two videos I saw were like LA, I'm pretty sure. And what they do is they go, it's quick, like a gang of them running into a store and steal a bunch of stuff and then get into their cars and they out. Why is this happening?
I don't know.
See, I don't know. And this is where we need this podcast, the Black Column. We are the show where two Black people give you an honest Black perspective because these other people will be lying. I believe they do be lying. And I believe some of this stuff has to do with the fact that we have excused criminal behavior, mistakenly tying it to helping Black people. And I've always said that is racist in and of itself because most Black people are not criminals.
Mm-hmm.
The overwhelming majority of Black people are law-abiding citizens. We want to get up, go to work, earn money, come home, and support our families just like any other demographic in America. What we are plagued by is a large minority of people who are out here committing crimes, tearing up our communities, making our lives hard. And so you have these liberals, and this is Shannon's people, who are out here, and they think, some of them I believe are genuinely trying to do what they deem to be the right thing to do. You see a whole bunch of Black people in jail, you think, okay, it must be, a racist system. Let's work on ways to make to reduce the number of Black people in prison. And then you see the bail reform that happens, right? We had that happen in New York City where crime went up through the roof and what is it? What is it? Oh, you let all the criminals back out on the streets. I think San Francisco, where they raised the price of how much you have to steal for it to be a felony.
Yeah, I think so.
And then they're shocked that people are out here just robbing a bunch of stores.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I get it.
But I don't get how we get it and they don't get it. That's what I'm saying, though. Like how come we get it, but they don't get it? Like, we have to have law and order. Or do y'all want a bunch of black Kyle Rittenhouses?
Oh, Lord.
I'm just saying, what do you want? If you truly don't want, Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been out there. He was out there with his gun and and his property. He shouldn't have been out there. Cool, I got you. So that means you have to have law and order. If you don't want a bunch of cowboys, you have to have like rules, like laws, safety. And y'all out here making it easier for criminals because you think you're helping black people, and what you're doing is you're making the lives of most black people harder. Because an unsafe rich neighborhood is one thing. An unsafe poor neighborhood is damning for the people that live there. And we need to talk about this, be honest about it. And I think the fact that these two stories, A, homeboy that ran over that parade, and B, these flash mobs that I haven't seen get much coverage either or discussion. Some here, they're on social media, maybe a segment on CNN. But if y'all could talk all day long about this other stuff that has no impact on our lives, then these stories deserve more attention because of the actual impact it will have on the poor and the most vulnerable. And I said it. So those two stories were now in our docket. For some reason, I forgot them. But
it's because it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, but they hit me when I was talking, and I just had to speak on it because I'm worried about certain trends taking place.
Yeah.
Certain trends taking place. And I guess like to tie up on this conversation, there was kind of a back and forth between Governor Hogan of Maryland and the what's her name? The Marilyn Mosby, the state's attorney general, about the violence in Baltimore. And essentially, Governor Larry Hogan, now he is a Republican, but here's what he had to say. Governor Larry Hogan announced a slew of initiatives targeting the growing violence in Baltimore City, including demanding data from city state's attorney Marilyn Mosby's office about the number of homicide cases dropped and the reasoning, the number of cases pled down to lesser charges, and the number of repeat violent offenders who were offered plea deals. 3 things. I think these are all rational. Hey, city state attorney, I would like to know the number of homicide cases and why they were dropped, for what reason. I want to know what cases were pled down to lesser charges, and I want to know the number of repeat violent offenders who were offered plea deals. These seems to be rational things to ask when you are trying to get a plan together to combat rising crime. And this is not even just crime. This is rising violence. So this is not just about stealing. This is not just about this is about homicide, assault, sexual assault, rape, stabbing, shootings, gang violence. This is like specific crime that has victims. You know what she said? Following his announcement, Mosby called a news conference to respond. It included criticisms of Hogan and his administration, as well as her frustrations with what she described as the governor's, a Republican, continuous criticisms of Baltimore. And she said, this is her actual, what she had to say. I regret ever having to respond to this governor, Mosby said during her rebuttal news conference. For the past 7 years, just like Donald Trump, Larry Hogan has used Baltimore City as a punching bag. The fuck?
Yeah, I was reading this and I didn't understand where she was coming from, because Baltimore City does have, it's well known for its crime. So like, what do you propose he does to try to get a handle on the crime there? I don't understand.
Not only Shannon does it has a history of crime, Baltimore is so bad. When you watch The Wire, which was a show produced like what, 2002?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like the same place.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad Baltimore City is. And this is what I mean when I say these black people that get into these positions of power who don't actually, I'm sorry, they don't advocate for black people. They don't. Like I said, some of them I think are just misguided. But some of them, like this statement to me, is someone who is more concerned on about her own political aspirations than doing well by black people in Baltimore. That made no sense to me. And rightfully so. Hogan rebuked her claims and said her response resembled a, quote, temper tantrum, which it did. Here's his exact quote. I thought it was silly. She threw kind of a temper tantrum. I laid out a very specific plan, talking a lot of different things, asking for data from her office was one of those things, Hogan said. It was like a dog ate my homework. She doesn't want to provide the information. She's going to have to provide the information. The governor doubled down on his ultimatum. Provide the data or the city's top prosecutor would see state funding withheld. We said we are going to get the information from them or we will withhold the funding, Hogan said when Fox 45 News asked him what more he can do to force the hands of leadership. That's where we are.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
I don't see anything wrong with it either.
Calling in the Maryland National Guard has been an idea floated in the past, especially during moments of surging violence in Baltimore. However, like receivership, the governor has been hesitant to say it's the right move. Quote, the only way would be to declare a state of emergency and take over, send in the National Guard. I don't anticipate that at this point. We are going to do anything else we can to help. Sorry, we are going to do everything else we can to help. Yeah, like this all seems rational to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the article goes on from there. I'm not going to read it all. They can go into there. And look, I'm not even saying that everything that Homeboy is proposing, I agree with, right? Because I'm sure if I go into kind of his legislations, I'm going to find something that I'm like, I think that goes too far or doesn't really address like the root cause of the violence, something. Mm-hmm. That said, though, her response was awful.
Yeah.
And we got too many of these people in positions of power. I don't like them. I've said this before. I don't like her. I don't like Kamala. I don't like Sharpton. I don't like Benjamin Crump. I don't like any of these people. I feel like these are all individuals who are out for their own political gain, lining their own pockets under the disguise of helping black people. Mm. That's how I feel about them. So, do you have any final thoughts on this, Shannon?
No, Jabia's all riled up.
I can't stand these people, man. They make me so angry, like so angry because I just see how desperate we are for help that we fall for the okie doke, and we assume that because somebody shares our skin color, that they're gonna have our best interest at heart, and they know that we think that, and so what they do, they exploit that. Mm-hmm. And so when I see these stories and I read them, I'm like, yo, really? Mm-hmm. Like, this was your response to him asking for that information? Like, yeah, I want to know how many deals you cutting with people who are repeat offenders. I want to know how many of these crimes are we offering plea deals for. Now, I'm all for less keep people out of jail, but it depends on for what.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be out here making deals with rapists. Mm-hmm. I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that you should be in jail forever, but like to rape somebody is a very that's not stealing.
No.
Like it's not stealing. It's not a crime of desperation, so to speak. No, it was rape. Yeah, you have to go. You know, you have to go somewhere for a couple of years until we can figure out what to do with you, or until we can figure out how to properly rehabilitate you. So yeah, I want to see who's getting these deals and how are they getting their sentences reduced. For what reason? For how long? And I just hate that she gets to hide behind the whole, he's a Republican, he's a white Republican, so, you know, he's the enemy.
We can't keep using that excuse for everything. So, but I have noticed that it's been used a lot, but he's not, his what he proposed, like there was nothing shady or like malicious or like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I lost it. I can't think of it. There was nothing.
Shannon said.
I don't know the word I was looking for.
Was it a poetry?
But yeah. We have to stop doing that. They do.
Yeah, and you know, my last thoughts on this is, once again, I'm not saying that, you know, Republicans are all right and Democrats are all wrong. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is her response, I didn't like it. It didn't seem like it had anything to do with his questions, his proposals. And look, if you have a problem with, you know, if she has a problem with his strategy because she believes for whatever reason it's going to negatively impact black people or X, Y, and Z, cool, I got you. But what's your solution?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's
what
I'm
are
saying.
you doing?
Like, what is she proposing?
That's what I'm saying, because Baltimore has been one of those places that has been ripe with abuse for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it makes me sad that, you know, like it doesn't seem like anybody that we put in the driver's seat is really taking a serious look at the crime, because once again, the criminals in Baltimore are still the minority. So even if you have like rampant violence in your community, it's still being committed by a small percentage of the population in that area. Everybody else is being held hostage. So you can't do what you need to do. You can't go outside, sit on your porch, go to church, go to work without worrying about bullets flying all around you. And it holds us captive in our own communities. That's why I'm not pro-criminal. Get the motherfuckers out of there. So we're getting the show here. I think it was a pretty good show. Pretty good show here. You know, there was a lot more news than we thought. We forgot about those two stories. This is why I'm trying to remind myself to like check the news like every day, and like just write it down instead of trying to do it the day of. Because some stories I'll just forget about, and I almost forgot about the two big ones that were really pissing me off. But they were. I was so heated about that parade story because I thought it was like a crazy right winger. When I heard the car SUV parade run over, I was like, oh, right winger, Muslim. Probably right winger because it was Wisconsin. I'm like, ain't too many Muslims in Wisconsin. But I was wrong. My bad for being racist. It was a black dude. It was a black dude. And when I saw how the media just totally like turned their head because of the identity of the person, I'm like, oh, nah, this is wild. And then those teenage boys out here robbing these stores, and they're going to get popped. Y'all going to rob the wrong store. Listen, if any of you are watching this video, right, the young men robbing these stores, you're going to catch the wrong store owner, or you're going to run into the wrong store.
Yeah. Because
there was one story, Shannon, that they punched like a couple of the coworkers, right? You're going to punch the wrong coworker or the wrong customer. One of y'all going to get shot. It's going to happen. I know it's LA, and so yeah, you think, you know, there ain't a bunch of guns out there. Everyone don't follow the law. Trust me. There are a bunch of people that live in New York. New York City has one of the most regressive, depending on who you ask. Let me change that word phrasing, that word choice. it has one of the most restrictive gun policies in the country. There are still a bunch of guns out here. Mm-hmm. So y'all gonna run up on the wrong store on the wrong day and get your asses shot. Please stop what you're doing right now. Trust me, it ain't worth it. You can't really even sell most of this merchandise anyway because the block is hot. Everyone knows if they get an influx of stolen goods, I ain't touching that. They're gonna call the police. Mm-hmm. Stop what you're doing. There was nothing wrong. We have to make honorable work respectable again. I get it. We in this culture where everyone's flossing, everyone got the bag, everyone's out here hustling. They're lying to you on social media. Most rappers are broke. Okay? It's not their money, that's the label's money. We have to make, I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. that said, like if you're the janitor, be the best janitor you're gonna be, right?
Did he say that?
Let me Google that real quick. Make sure I ain't out here slandering the good doctor's name. Hold on. MLK janitor quote. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm getting the doctor right. Okay. If it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like another name I can't pronounce. Leontine Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the host of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived the great street sweeper who swept his job well. We have to make this a thing again. Yeah, okay. You might not love where you are in life right now, but look, having a legal job that pays you money is respectable as a man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might not get the money that you want or whatever. I got you. But doing illegal and like illegal stuff, it not only messes up your life, it makes things harder for the people in your community. I keep trying to tell y'all that because when you do illegal things, you increase police presence in your neighborhood. And so thus you increase the chances of one of those bad police officer community situations. Like we have to get back to what, this is like, you be the great street sweeper, be the great retail worker, be the great OnlyFans woman.
Oh God. Okay. Or that, if that's what you're into.
Whatever, you know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah, I'm not knocking it at all.
Yeah, but so we're gonna close the show out. Shannon gave her final thoughts. Thank you guys for rocking with us again. We will be back in sometime next week. I don't know what day, but depends on our schedules when we can get it online. As always, please subscribe, rate, review the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere else where podcasts can be found. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at Black Column, YouTube, same thing. All of our shit will be in the description notes. We will see you guys next time. Deuces.
Bye.